Well, they call her the contest queen. That's because Carolyn Willman enters more than 1,200 contests a year. She doesn't win them all, but last year she pulled in about $34,000 in cash and prizes. So what's her secret? And will she share it with us? So listen up, because you too could be a winner. Welcome, Carolyn. Thanks for coming in.
I'm so glad to be here.
Wow, 34,000. That's remarkable. Tell me how it all started. Why so many contests every year?
Well, I was going through an unemployment stint, and I read an article in Reader's Digest about a woman who contested as a hobby, and I thought, wow, what a great idea. I'll just win everything I need in life. I don't have to work. And so I started entering, and it took about 3 years before I had a system that was getting me a lot of wins on a regular basis. And then we had a winning streak where in a matter of a week we'd won 3 trips. And everyone
in 1 week?
In 1 week. And everyone started saying to me, well, what's your secret? And after a while I thought, I should be writing this down. And so I wrote the book, You Can't Win If You Don't Enter.
But take me back a little bit, because your background is in IT, so you have computer background.
Marketing background, all in the IT industry.
Okay.
And of course I got caught in the dot-com crunch, and then of course nobody was hiring, and marketing wasn't hiring. So that's why I was unemployed for such a long period of time, actually the longest period I had in my career.
And when you looked at options and ways to enter contests, was a computer the natural route to go?
The natural route to go. Actually, 80% of all contests now are online in Canada, and it's moving more that way in the U.S. too.
Because I was thinking that most of us see it as a ballot at, beside a cash register.
Those are disappearing really fast, because it's cheaper for a company to run a promotion online than it is to a mail-in promotion. The ones that haven't changed though are the radio. The radio stations will always run
because that's a whole market. As you know, with marketing, that's all about getting more listeners. So tell me about your system then, because you've written in a book, so you're willing to talk about it. Give me the formula. What's the answer?
Well, first of all, enter, enter, enter. It's the kind of like the more you enter, the more chances you have to win. And so what I've done is, when I started, it took me a long time to find information, where to go, who to talk to, meet fellow contesters. I've actually made lifelong friends from this hobby, which is actually, I think the better part is not just the winning, but the friends and the people that I have met. It's phenomenal. And so on my website, I have a place called Contest Sites, and then you can go and find all the websites that tell you where all the contests are running in Canada today. Because I couldn't find that stuff. It took a long time. So now I just make it easy for people.
So that cuts your time in half, because you don't have to do all the searching every day to find out who's got the contest.
That's right.
Right.
And also there's software to help you enter a little faster.
Oh, really? So a ballot filler inner type software?
Yeah.
Clever.
It's called autofill.
Autofill.
Autofill software, like RoboForm is the big one.
RoboForm.
RoboForm, yeah. That's got a real sound to it, doesn't it?
So on a weekly basis, walk me through what you would do on an average week to enter contests. How would it work during your day?
Well, actually, it's a daily basis. It's only an hour or two a day. I just don't watch as much television in the evening as other people. And so instead, I sit in front of my computer and I enter, I chat with friends, I find new contests, I set them up, and it's really simple. It's not as much time as people would think.
Because then the word spreads. I'm sure if you're tapped into that community that is a contest like-minded, you'd all share the big sites, right?
Yeah, so I share with you, and so now we both can enter, and I find one, and I share, and you share, and so it's great, because you have all these online friends that have the same hobby, and so you talk about different things.
Let's get to the goods. Tell me what you won. Tell me all the big prizes.
The best prize that we ever won, we just went on in December. My husband's name was picked, and we got 4 of us went to London, England, and we went to Leavesden Studios, and we were the first people outside of cast and crew to be on the Harry Potter set.
Wow.
I have a picture of me in Dumbledore's chair.
Wow, what an experience. What was that like?
Surreal. That's one of the things that I really like about the hobby, is you get to do things that you don't get to do in everyday life.
Yeah, it's one thing to win a trip. I mean, that's fantastic to win a trip anywhere, but everyone else can buy that. You couldn't buy that.
No, you can't buy that. So that's a lot of things. Like one of the trips we'd won, we went to LA and had dinner at Bob Bloomer's house, a Cereal Gourmet. I mean, you can't buy that either.
Right.
So it's a lot of fun.
And what do you have in your box? You brought some.
Well, I call this my lucky box. What I do is, I think you have to feel lucky to be lucky. Okay. And so whenever I'm not feeling very lucky, I keep all the letters of, congratulations, you won movie passes, you won a trip, you won free pizza, you won, whatever. And then I go through and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And I start feeling really lucky again. And then I...
More confidence,
More
really.
confidence.
But luck, because luck's a big part of this, right?
I think it is.
Yeah. I mean,
so I think you have to feel lucky to be lucky.
Because the whole premise is if you don't get in the action, if you don't play, you're not going to win. But you do acknowledge it's luck if you have a lucky box.
Well, there's an expression, if you're not in it, you can't win it.
Right.
So, but still, I think luck has something to do with it. And I think if you're not feeling lucky, you're not going to win.
So do you get to the point where you expect that you're going to win?
Actually, I do try to expect to win. There's a book I read on the scientific factors of luck, and he said that lucky people expect to be lucky. So yeah, if I go to bed and I haven't won anything that day, I'm actually a bit disappointed.
You have high standards, and so you should. So you've got movie passes in there. What's the most silly thing that you ever won?
Oh, it's actually very funny. I won a year's supply of bubble gum. Bubble gum. Like a year's supply. Well, we hadn't even finished chewing all of that and giving it out at Halloween and everything, and we won it again. And my husband's like, what are we going to do with all this gum? The neighborhood kids loved me because I share, like, if I can't use something, if the movie pass and something comes up I can't go, I give it to friends, you know. So they all love hanging around me. It's like, where are we going to go next? Because Carolyn just won something.
Well, what about, I mean, something like Tim Hortons where there's all sorts of stuff you can win? I mean, do you win regularly?
You know what? This year I won nothing at Tim Hortons, not even a donut.
You got to go through your lucky box.
I got to go through my lucky box.
What I heard you won Thompson's water seal or something.
Oh, you know, my number one tip to people is read the rules. And sometimes I don't read the rules. I don't follow my own advice. And what made it worse is not just I won, my husband won as well, so we won twice as much, and we don't even own a deck. I'm like, what did I enter this for? Like, so, I mean, we gave it to friends and family that needed it, but it seemed quite silly that...
But your advice also is that you've got to enter everything, right, if you're going to win something? Because you said don't just enter selectively.
Well, if you do enter selectively, your wins will be farther and fewer between. I had a woman actually email me about that, and she wanted a trip, and I said, well, last year we won, you know, 2 trips, and one of them wasn't even mine. My sister won a trip, so I'm not even going. So they're going to be farther apart. So if you want wins all the time, you have to enter locally, like the radio stations, the local TV stations, you know, you're giving away David Suzuki's book. That's,
right.
You know, the odds of winning that are really good because only so many people are going to have an opportunity to phone in.
What about scams, though? Because you have to be careful of that if you're involved in so many.
It's pretty easy. I mean, if anybody asks you for information that you're not comfortable giving, banking information, your Visa card, anything that you wouldn't give out anyway, then it's not legitimate. And I've only run across a few of those. Most of them get dumped into my spam folder if I get emails.
And they have to have a phone number that you're able to call back to confirm they are legitimate, right?
Well, it's pretty... If you're doing it on a regular basis, you're going to get an email that says, congratulations, you won. You know, I had Bell, we went to Whistler. Bell Canada phoned me. Hi, you just remember entering this contest? Yes, I do. So you remember the contest, they give you a name. It's a legitimate company. You can take down a name and phone number, say, can I call you back?
And follow it up. And then have a great trip.
And have a great trip. It's really easy to weed it out.
Carolyn, thanks so much and good
Thank
luck.
you.
Stay lucky. You can find out all about Carolyn Willman's tips in her book, You Can't Win It If You Don't Enter. It's published by Imagination Edge, and it's available on her website at contestqueen.com. And that's it for today's show, but we always want to hear from you. You can send us an email to moretolife@tvo.org or check out our weekly listings online at www.tvo/moretolife. Tomorrow, everything you wanted to know about dogs and cats, but you were afraid to ask. Whether your pets have fleas or just need to cut back on kibble, our vet will have treatments and prevention suggestions for you. And do women really want to have it all, or do we secretly long to be housewives? One woman's controversial take on this topic. All sorts tomorrow at 2 o'clock on More to Life. I'm Karen Horseman, filling in for Mary Ito. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you tomorrow.